everyone, and welcome to the second round chase card footage of the 2017 Utah Open. We got Big Julie commentary team, myself, Jeremy Koling, joined by Paul Ulibarri. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good. I'm happy to be back for the second round coverage. Like you said, beautiful Ogden, Utah. The scenery's great, and I can't wait to see.
And just take a look at this place. I mean, it's just right from the beginning, you're just kind of captivated by the beauty of this place. It's really, really, it's mesmerizing.
Absolutely. I think this is going to become one of the staples of the tour in years to come.
Yeah, we got a great card today. We have people from 3 players from California and Dana Vicich from Illinois. So we'll see what the West Coast can do. And starting off the card, we got AJ Risley from San Diego representing Legacy Disc.
Yeah, it's good to see these players playing well. AJ's having a great season. He's definitely playing his best golf that I've ever seen him, and he starts off nice with a nice little straight flex shot. Puts himself right in position to attack this green.
Yeah, one of the things you want to avoid if you didn't watch the footage yesterday is that there's water on the right side, and so you definitely don't want to turn your drive over too much. But if you hyzer out too much to the left, then you're going to have the trees in the way for your approach. So nice shot from AJ. He can get the disc out there pretty far. That wasn't his longest drive, but he kept it right in the middle, like you said, which gives him a pretty open shot.
Yeah, this hole really, you can go after it off the tee, or you can just kind of play a smart shot into whatever really you're comfortable in throwing that green.
And Dana's really getting this thing going right. I don't think he's too far right. He's going to be able to flex right back to the right side. That's a good shot.
Yeah, you could tell he really trusted whatever disc that was to turn it over and get his max distance, really, and then smoothed it right into the fairway.
One of the things about getting a long drive in this hole, I feel like it really makes it easier for you to approach that really, really tough hill green with the bunker right behind it. If you're out of position, the best play probably is to just chuck it long.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what Dustin Keegan can do here.
Yeah, Dustin's got a ton of power, so he can typically throw hyzers further than most people's flex shots. So that's one of Dustin's strengths. We'll see if he how much he goes to that today.
Yeah, like I said, there's several ways to play this. Several ways, excuse me, to play this. Yeah, to play this hole, but. I've noticed that a lot of people do what AJ do, leave it a little short in the fairway, and then you kind of have a full shot into the green instead of like a tweener shot going in, and Drew has no problem.
Yeah, Drew's just throwing a putter off the tee, 450, so just a nice little checkup layup shot.
Yeah, exactly. Drew has no problem getting that distance that you said to give himself a fairly easier upshot than, say, AJ here.
AJ, yeah, he's keeping this thing turned over. He needs to just clear this bunker. Looks like he's going right into it.
Yeah, you couldn't really tell if he was trying to lay that up short or if he was trying to park the hole. It's really deceiving from that far back. He might have been in that tweener range that I was talking about.
Right. At that point, I think the play is to just take something fast and really blast it past the hill. And that's a really nicely checked up shot from Dana. The best way to throw this hole for the approach, if you're throwing backhand, is to hit that hillside and just barely catch it so it slows the disc down. And that, as well as in the bunker, he's going to have a bit shorter putt than AJ. If you are going to go out of bounds, it's crucial, since we're playing the hazard rule, to get as close as you can to the pin.
And Drew just kind of throwing a little chip shot, but he also goes into the bunker.
Yeah, he actually last year, that's a bit shorter of a layup than I think AJ maybe wanted. But last year, Drew did the same thing 3 rounds in a row. He threw a good tee shot and threw it right into the bunker. So this is not a new thing for him, but a solid putt there right over the hillside. What a beautiful shot that is.
Yeah, it goes right into the SloMez, and that's a good start for him. Even though he threw it in the bunker, he still gets away with par, and he has a little momentum going into hole 2.
Yep. And that's a scary putt to commit. I mean, you can see that basket is on that slope. If you miss that putt right or left, or even hit the cage and roll a little bit, you're not going to be closer than 30 feet.
And Dana with the best approach on the card. Let's see if he can make good on his birdie. And he does. What a good putt. Great start.
This is a really fantastic hole, one that separates. You can get 3, 4, 5, maybe even a 6 on this hole. And I mean, we see here AJ putting for his 5. this is a hole that feels really, really quality birdie here. Mm-hmm. And there's some birdies on the course that don't quite feel like you're gaining much. This one, you feel like you're gaining a stroke.
Now, we mentioned that there were 3 people from California, but I believe Dustin is from Oregon.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking West Coast. My apologies, Dustin Keegan and all the Dustin Keegan fans. Yeah, but we got three left coasters on the card, but yeah, good catch there, especially with the Oregon on his shirt. Yep. You cheated. You didn't even know that.
I probably didn't know, but...
On the hole 2, another really, really tricky hole with the green and the bunker and the water on the front side and back side.
Yeah, it's at a perfect distance to where it's really tough to have that touch coming into this green. I mean, Dana displays it perfectly there. That's the way that we want to draw it up, but it's so tough with the crosswind, and it's so hard to have that touch on a fast, probably 13-speed driver.
Yeah, today the wind switched up from round 1. And Dustin, that's a big mistake coming up short in the water. I don't know if he hit that side of the bank and rolled in, or if he has to go all the way back. But during this round, we actually have a left to right crosswind, which allowed the hyzer throwers to be able to throw into the basket more and have the disc get knocked down, as opposed to round 1 where we had that strong right to left.
Yeah, and even a shot like Drew just threw there to about 2 feet, even that shot from the tee, you're still kind of puckering, thinking, okay, am I inbounds? Is it gonna roll out? Right. So you really don't know until you get and you walk up and you see your disc over this hill.
Yeah, it's a good feeling seeing that green flag from the tee, that's for sure.
I really think that most people are trying to hit the hill. They're trying to hit the hill and just
get a little bit of scoop, just like Dana did.
Yeah. And if you hit the
Dana just doesn't quite make good there.
And if you hit the hill and you stay up top, you're fine with it. You know, you got the putt down and everything.
And Dana just squeezes in his par putt. He's definitely not feeling too great about that, but he's still 1 down through 2, which is good. And Dustin did indeed, looks like he crossed and hit the bank and rolled back in the water, which is it's much better than having to go back 150, 200 feet almost back. Mm-hmm. But Dustin got 2 OBs and 2 holes, and that's really not that uncommon. There's just OB everywhere on this course.
Yeah.
You can lose your disc on maybe 15 holes in this course with the water everywhere.
Yeah, it just looks like he's playing a little tentative, and that's the thing about this course. You try to play safe, and that's when it bites you. Yeah. So I expect to see Dustin get a little more aggressive here on the front 9 and get his round going. Yeah.
Hole 3 is as you can see, there's bunkers, there's greens. The cart path is safe, cart path and beyond. There is water on the right, but that's really not really in play. The play here for most players is just the big high hyzer. Like you see Drew throwing here. The tricky part is the distance control, because if you go long like he did there, it's going to be a really, really tricky putt, because A, you have the tree in the way, and B, if you go long, that bunker is just out of the screen there on the left.
Yeah, I normally don't like holes that have OB that close to the basket and then trees and stuff, but for some reason I'm okay with this pin placement. For some reason I think that the pin placement really makes the hole and it makes it a good hole.
Yeah, from 405 feet, if you're challenging the top level players, this is a proper distance to be able to really put a basket in a really tough spot. And AJ just needs to catch that grass on hyzer. He's actually probably just outside circle's edge, but he's going to have a clean look at the basket, so it's a pretty good tee shot.
And Dustin just so smooth with his power, man. I really enjoy watching him.
Needs to get up. No, 3 for 3 off the tee shots. And that's the tricky part, because you kind of want to do what he did there. Hit that hillside right above the bunker and then skip up. And he just barely rolled back in. And Drew loved the run, but just an inch high. Quality bid from that distance.
Yeah, and as a thrower, back to Dustin's shot, he's not looking to do anything else. That's what's such a bummer about his shot, is he thinks, okay, it might be good, it might not be good.
And the high side chain out. He's going to have to settle for another bogey. And look at that solid putt. AJ, I love his reactions when he makes putts. He gets really pumped up.
Yeah, he definitely shows his emotion, and that was a good putt. It was one that definitely you could tell he was happy about making.
Yeah, for sure. No, this is another one. In a way, I don't know if it's as hard as hole one, but I mean, it's another one of those birdies that you feel really good about. Like you're not seeing many birdies in the field on this hole just because of even good tee shots land right behind that Christmas tree and you have no putt.
Yep.
So there's so many things to worry about. So good birdie there in AJ, tough break for Dustin, and just kind of routine pars for Dana and Drew, having good looks at it, not quite converting. And on to hole 4. Another hole that is just dictated, obviously, by the water and the wind. 450 feet, you're carrying the disc. If you're going straight towards the pin, you're carrying it at least 430, almost over water. So if you have to really decide off the tee, are you going for this, or are you laying up and bailing out to the right side? And it looks like AJ's kind of doing the almost in between play, not quite as far bailed out to the right, but he's still outside circle too. So that was definitely a layup on his end.
Yeah, I think he did exactly what he wanted there. I think that was a good shot, and he gave himself, 70-footer.
And I don't think Drew's laying up.
No, he really doesn't lay up very much.
No, he doesn't. But if you had that kind of power and that kind of accuracy, I think that you probably wouldn't lay up either.
That was a high hyzer.
Yeah.
Out of his hand, I wasn't actually sure.
It's literally over the mountains. He threw it over the mountains.
How did he do that?
I don't know.
That was a good 1,000-foot throw.
He's in 100% range for putting, so he's going to card an awesome birdie here.
Dana.
That needs to get some speed because that is low, and he is going right towards the pin. Never crosses. He's going to be back about 100 feet off the tee.
Dustin, he has plenty of power to get there, but again, just like AJ, I think he's doing exactly what he wants. He's pulling it to the right side, making sure that he catches land. Probably, especially after watching Dana come up short into the water.
Well, and he started off with 3 straight OB shots. So I mean, that's just safe. Stay away from OB here. Let's get back on track and let's just avoid a big number here.
Yeah, and Dana with this awkward lie, he's just putting that in play. There's nothing you can do there. You can't come up short. You have to throw it long, and you have to make sure you cover land. So,
all right, those going out of bounds on some of these banks is almost a double penalty in that you have to throw while mountain climbing too. I mean, it's like it's really awkward to throw with one foot a foot above the other. So. Dana just doing as good as he can. Still put himself about 60-something feet from the pin, and he's got this putt for a bogey.
Yep.
And really, that's just about what you expect from that distance.
He's just accepting his bogey or his double bogey and moving on.
Mm-hmm. And finally getting around to Drew, who's been thinking about how good this tee shot was for the last 10 minutes probably, and
he's like, what are you guys doing? Why don't you just throw it over the mountains?
Throw it over the mountains and then put it 4 feet from the pin, and then you're good.
Yeah.
And a good par there from AJ and Dustin. Sticking to the game plan is important on this hole. You can live with committing one way or the other. Going for the pin or bailing out, one way or the other, you have to commit. Hole 5 is a long, really, I hate to use this word over and over, but straightforward in that it is just flat ground. You got some bunkers on the right that are really kind of out of play for the tee shots, but then that water on the left, that really does come into play, especially with where the basket is located.
Yeah, I think the wind really dictates the level of difficulty on this hole.
Yeah.
If it's a right to left wind, it's kind of a easy, wow, that's a big shot.
And saying that those bunkers is out of play is for the normal player. Drew definitely brings those into play. But we had a right to left win today, which again is the exact opposite from day one. And so you might see some players go the wide hyzer over out and over the OB on the right. Looks like all these players so far have decided to go down the middle with a flex shot, play against the wind, and have the wind maybe push it back a little bit. That's a really tricky shot to execute. This shot was way harder than the day before.
Yes.
You feel a lot more comfortable with that left to right because you can just throw it and know that the wind's never going to allow it to get to the water. But with that right to left, a shot that's 75, 80 feet from the water isn't always safe because this fairway is so shortly cut.
Yeah, this group made it look really easy, a lot easier than it actually is. The wind angle makes it very uncomfortable to throw that flex shot, and then Dana really taking on this basket. No, you can't throw that any better.
Yeah, that is a lot of trust, keeping it very wide, getting a good long skip, and AJ's trying to read that line a little bit. He's a little bit short, but he's still shopping. He'll be looking at the basket from 33 feet, but he'll be looking right at the water, so it's a pretty tough putt.
Yeah, I mean, that's you see that a lot on this hole. Not really knowing the distance, especially with the wind, and leaving it short. That's a fine play because then you have the option to really be aggressive on the putt or lay it up and take a par.
Yeah, with that water being as close as it is behind the basket, it's really tricky to commit to putting it as close as you'd like to. You'll see a lot of players end up in that range right there, right where Drew is, about 28, 29 feet from the basket.
Yeah, and he did pretty good to get there. He looked like he had an awkward lie with that.
That's the trickiness. That's why this hole is so difficult. I mean, the distance itself being just under 700 feet isn't that hard. Really nice putt there from Drew for his birdie. But yeah, the second shot is so tricky, so you really want to get as much D off the tee shot as possible, so you can leave yourself a short approach.
And even with Drew getting as far up as anybody pretty much possibly could, he still left himself a 30-footer, which really shows you how hard this hole is. And
oh no, that's a tough one. That's a tough break to swallow. And Dustin finally getting on the board with his first birdie. Good for him. See if we can keep that momentum going.
And Dana, after the double bogey, comes in with a nice birdie too. So that's gonna make him feel good. And AJ's very disappointed with that.
Yeah, 33 feet away for your birdie, and then having to settle for a double bogey. That's a tough one. And on to the second shortest hole in the course, the island hole here. There's really they don't really have any forehand players in the card, so this is gonna be interesting to see how they attack this one. With this slope from the right to left, it's really important to match the angle of the disc with the hill. Otherwise, you're gonna skip, or you're gonna roll down to the bottom and leave yourself a longer putt than you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for these guys to throw their most stable mid-range. He's probably throwing a Justice there.
Okay.
And that's pretty good.
All right. You don't see pull it squared more than that. That's like, that thing just dead stopped, didn't ricochet or anything.
And I'm guessing Gator here.
Yeah, probably Gator. And that is kind of why I didn't really agree with them adding the wall on the backside to this hole. Just it kind of bails out. You didn't really have to have the same touch that you have in years past when that line was just painted.
Yeah, and then he kind of walks the dog back towards the pin too. That was nice. Yeah. I'm guessing another Gator.
And a little spike hyzer there. Nice, so he didn't have to worry about the roll or the skip off the ground. So played a nice angle. And like I said, all four backhands here, and AJ has got that way too wide.
Yeah, that really never had a chance.
I think he was trying to throw the flip up so that he could maybe not have to worry about the skip.
Yeah.
And he ended up not putting enough hyzer on it. And the wind was just really playing tricks all day. I mean, it was just a really uncomfortable wind. I was surprised that overall scores were better because I really felt like the conditions were much harder. And you can see that there with AJ just not quite feeling comfortable on the tee.
Yeah, in this hole, it's really just you either are gonna two it or you're gonna four it.
Yeah, for the most part,
or three like Dana,
or use three it sometimes too. But not getting a three will be Drew Gibson, who almost aced the hole with a perfect tee shot. And
I guess what I'm saying is it's definitely can be a two-shot swing on the card. Most definitely. Usually, there's usually a four and then a few birdies.
Drew acknowledging the patrons with a nice little wave to the crowd there. Nice of him to do that. And Dustin with back-to-back birdies now. He's now even for the round, so he's starting to get things going. Here we have a attackable par 3. It's almost in that par 4 range because we're throwing into a headwind. With no wind, this hole is reachable for all the big arm players because the ground play allows a big long skip. But with this headwind, it makes this hole really difficult, and you have to make some important decisions if you're going to lay up or if you're going to go.
And Drew trying to throw it over the mountains again, but he gets that one kind of caught up, and that is
just the
out of bounds.
Unfortunate rollout. He was OB, rolled back safe, and then rolled back OB. And, you know, the day before we saw him put it inside the circle, so you can see, you know, that wind change made a huge difference in the way that he attacked this hole. And that's a good safe, probably about a 440-foot shot from Dustin.
Yeah, just playing it in the fairway and making sure he's going to get his par.
And that was something that we saw a lot of going right towards the bunkers, but Dana's luckily not somebody who throws 600 feet, so he doesn't have to worry about hitting those bunkers with that shot. So he's safe too, so he'll have a nice approach to the green. And that's not to say that Dana can't throw it far, because I've seen him throw it really far, but I did see a lot of players throwing to the bunker with that wind. It just was forcing people over there. A nice little hyzer approach. Again, looks like he's throwing a gator there. That thing just is so reliable in the wind. You know, you can just put it out there and it's just going to end on a nice hyzer angle.
And here comes a Nova, I believe.
Oh, and a nice bid there.
Yeah, Dustin has a lot of touch in his game. It's nice to see him throw those soft putter shots and really giving the last couple up shots a run.
Right. And AJ's making that look routine as well. And here's Drew maybe trying to save. Oh my goodness, almost saved his 3. Look at him. But in general, getting out of this hole with a 3, especially in these windy conditions, is a good feel. I don't want to say you're gaining a stroke on the field, but it definitely plays closer to a par 4 than a par 3 for most people, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, and they're all just tapping in their bogeys.
Yeah, a bogey. It really doesn't. I don't know if it feels like, you know, you should have had a 3, but with the water and the sand trap and the green right there, it's like it's so easy to go out of bounds, especially if you have the power. You know, almost having the power that Drew has is a bit of a crux in that situation because you have to go for it in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely designed to bait you into going for it, and then when you go for it, it feels like an eagle because there's OB left, OB right, OB everywhere.
And you're one of like 10 people that can get that far.
And then if you're going to lay it up, the only spot you can lay it up is going to leave you a 200-foot up shot, so then it turns into a par 4 all of a sudden.
Right. And you can just see from the drone footage, I mean, there's so many different things to worry about here. There's 2 blind bunkers within 15 feet of the hole. That's a pretty safe play, just playing it long. That is not a putt that you're going to see many players other than like Ricky Wysocki going for 45 feet from the pin on top of the mound there. So probably see Dustin lay up that one for his 3.
And you see this play a lot, just a mid-range right at it. If you don't turn it over, you have quite a bit of room to the left before the water, and then, you know, like you said, then you're probably laying up about a 45 footer.
Right. You don't really. It's kind of hard to justify going for a putt on this hole, and that was so close to that mound. Oh, what the heck did he hit there? Did he hit like the edge of the bunker?
I think he did, and then the cutback roll. He's not going to be happy with that. But he did dodge a bullet by, it looked like maybe even going through the pine tree.
Right, going through the pine tree and then not going in the bunker, and then the rollout. I think he's going to be fine with being safe there. A lot of things could have happened.
Yeah, and one thing that you really can't tell on the tee when you're throwing that shot is that pine tree on the right really is pretty close. And even Drew came close to it right there.
Right. And is Drew, oh my goodness, that guy is going for everything and chains out. That was pretty solid putt.
Yeah, that was a really good run on a 45-footer on the top of a hill in a headwind.
And he nails it, and it just falls out. Tough break. And all these guys are running their putts. I mean, that is not a comfortable putt for anyone. And Dana's doing the smart thing there, I think. If you're not committed 100%, don't even. Oh, take your time there. Don't even consider it. You know, don't even factor that in as being a possibility, because those half runs are what get you in trouble.
Yeah, then it's like, what are you guys even doing? This is easy.
Right. Well, Drew's just like, I don't understand how to do this anymore. he's playing, he's doing some great shots. It's just not quite getting the breaks. And
yeah, he's drawn metal on almost every single putt that he's had.
He's still shooting well.
100 out.
3 under through 8 holes is a good start, you know, and not going OB too many times, but he's just so close at breaking through and shooting like 6 down through 8.
Yeah, that's the thing about this course. The way that it's designed, again, is there's so much OB everywhere that you feel so close. You're making good putts, but you're just barely out of bounds, and then all of a sudden you're 3 down through 8 holes, and
right.
That's actually not a bad score, but you feel like you should be so much more.
And Dustin put a nice move on that. Good angle with his destroyer out of his hand, giving good flex. He's going to end up on the right side of this tree line, which will introduce the trees on his approach a bit. I think most players would probably prefer the line to the left of the trees, but if you're out as far wide right as Dana is, there might be a straight line approach to the pin. I really like this hole. I think it's a good combination of being able to just let the players grip it and rip it, but also have to have a nice approach there. There's a green right outside the circle. So you have to be aware of the green there, and you also have the elevated basket, so getting your disc close in your approach is pretty key. And you see Drew here, he's leaning for the favorable left side approach. There's fewer trees in the way, so.
And that's a big drive, though. That's far to get it past that green on the left and then in the open, and he'll have next to nothing in his way almost with his upshot.
There's really one tree in the way, but it's pretty much completely out of the way. And you see that Dana just kept it just to the right of that tree there, but didn't get his disc to flip up and turn over enough. He's going to have about 45 feet.
And AJ's style is more of the straight line shot. Like, he's always, I feel like, going to pick the straightest line towards the basket. He's so good at the straight shots, and he displays it well there, cutting those 2 trees in half and putting that thing right in the circle.
Yeah, there you go. And Drew's throwing the sidearm that we actually worked on together last year a lot, and he threw a lot of great forehands on this course last year, and that was a really nice shot there. Something that he hasn't had the most confidence in lately, even though I think he actually has a lot of power and he doesn't give himself enough credit.
And Dustin wants that one back. He wants a big germ lesson.
we can talk about it. He's one of the calmest dudes on tour, though. I mean, he's such a pleasure to play with. He always keeps things in perspective. Next shot, you know, and he's not going to let things bother him for too long. So
yeah, he got that thing way too far up in the air there, leaving himself about a 45-footer for par.
Yeah, not the putt you want for par. And Dana, kind of a half bid there. I don't think he quite committed to that one, but I don't think he was laying that one up either. Just didn't quite get it up in the air. And this is definitely, I don't think that was supposed to be a layup either. But that's a hard putt to go for. That little bit of elevation really plays tricks on the players. Oh, and AJ can't convert either. Oh, and that's not what you want to see outside the circle now.
Yeah, he's catching a couple bad breaks in the last few holes.
You can see that wind ripping on his shirt, and that's a tough break again. That's the second time he's been right at circle's edge putting for birdie and had to settle for bogey or worse.
Yeah.
And Dustin cleans up his bogey.
And Drew has about a 15-footer for birdie here. And this is a good one to pick up on the course for sure. So.
And look at that view.
Yeah, it's good to see Drew really taking his time on that one too, and making sure that he gets that one.
Good putt there, and the other players are going to tap in bogey, and Dana will be getting his par.
AJ with a lefty bogey, though.
Oh, AJ actually has been known to throw lefty flick rollers on the course. It's kind of a trick shot master. So after 9 holes, Drew is leading the card at 4 under, good pace through 9. Dana and Dustin even, and AJ a little bit behind here with a tough start, 4 over. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That rounds up the front 9. And we'll catch you guys a little bit later on for the back.